Tonzilla for 5. Copyright on Mickey runs out in a few weeks. Heard Disney didn't even pursue lobbyists to change the laws because Mickey isn't even worth the fight. Well, just to be clear, it's the specific version of Mickey.
Correct.
Yeah.
Of Steamboat Willie.
They still
Correct.
own other versions you can't mess with. Yeah.
It's a specific version that's Steamboat Willie. And, the fact that it's been 100 years, first of all, just to be fair, I want to be totally fair, I don't know how much wind in the sails was left for the fight anyway. They have gotten this copyright extended half a dozen times in the last several decades. I don't know if there was the will, even on the lawmakers' side
the
to do it again.
House of Representatives under control of the Republicans was going to go along with Disney's desires this time?
Right. I see. Yeah. Ron, thoughts on that real quick?
The cost.
It doesn't, as I mentioned in the chat, it doesn't really matter that much. We're talking about the copyright in the Steamboat Willie cartoon
version.
Right.
Yeah.
The value of Mickey Mouse is as a trademark.
Yes.
Trademarks don't expire as long as you keep using them. Disney will keep using Mickey Mouse.
Yeah.
God knows how they'll use him. As long as there's a Walt Disney.
Ron, there's a question that comes up very, very often. Maybe you could weigh in on this. There are a vast number of people who wonder if the reason that Disney uses the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey in their Disney animation intro is to make sure that it's more difficult for people to ever use that and to keep that trademark fresh in the minds of everybody. Is there anything to that, or does that not matter?
It would be an interesting sacrifice of creative priorities to legal priorities. It's very ambiguous. How different is Steamboat Willie from the most recent version of Mickey Mouse? Different enough that most kids could spot it. But at the end of the day,
it's a 25% difference.
I was just going to say that. I was just going to make a joke on that.
Sorry, Ron, go ahead.
The courts have been very, very protective of literary characters. So that, the Ninth Circuit's decision in the Batmobile case, which I think was a bad one, basically upheld the ability of DC to protect anything that it calls a Batmobile, even though the Batmobile is different in every picture.
So I should take the license plate off of my car that says Batmobile.
Your car says Batmobile, or your license plate says Batmobile?
That's ambiguous, I suppose. It's a fake license plate. No, I'm joking.
I don't want to touch that. But it is, there are a lot of moving parts here. Disney has very little to lose and not much to gain by continuing to look like pigs on the copyright front, and look, copyright in general is a wreck. The law of copyright is a mess. The entire platform that we are sitting and talking on is premised on technical, at least, and in many cases more than technical infringement of copyright. And on the other hand, some of the most trivial and really commercially meaningless things that are enforced and actually restrict creativity. No one's ever going to put me in charge of that. But I mean, it seems like what Disney's doing makes perfect sense, which is, more or less letting it slide and relying on the trademark. And by the way, how much real interest is there in ripping away the Mickey Mouse? Who's going to do it, and for what?
I just want the whistle.
I know a few people who already got plans, but
Yellow Flash. Yellow Flash has been chomping at the bit for years for this. Another YouTuber out there, Ron, if you don't know who he is, Yellow Flash has been ready to go. He's a comic book artist guru.
I guess there's a video game also ready to go too.
Yes, I'm sure there's lots. And those are of interest. Those sort of fan fiction / parody.
I was going to say parody stuff. It's going to be a lot of making fun of.
That's always going to be of marginal interest to Disney. And from an enforcement program point of view, those are the guys you want to knock out because they tend to open the door to genericide. Although again, the chances of Mickey becoming a generic are pretty low.
All right, Ron, let me
I've
ask
written
you
about this extensively on my old Likelihood of Confusion blog. I believe me, I could take up the rest of the stream on this topic, and I don't.
Ron, one more question about that then, and Valiant, you can veto this if you want. There's a video game called Cuphead where they brought in people and they had them hand draw all of the stuff so it looks authentically like a 1920s, 1930s cartoon. What would stop a company from doing that exact same thing with Steamboat Willie and releasing a video game that is just Steamboat Willie, it's interactive and all that, and sell it for $60 a pop? Could Disney stop that once that copyright ends?
I'm not sure I understand the.
If they transferred the medium, if they said, okay, we're going to take the Steamboat Willie character and we're going to transfer it into a video game.
Right, into a new medium.
Right. Does it matter the fact that, does the copyright apply just to reusing Steamboat Willie as an image in a cartoon or a published medium versus we're going to put him into an actual video game? Is there a line there?
So one of the most valuable rights that a copyright owner has is the right to make what are called derivative works.
Okay.
That's really, to a large extent, where the action is. And that's how you're able to, if you own a literary character, stop people from writing a new version, your own James Bond novel or whatever the case may be. And all the fact that you might not only move from work to work, but from work in a medium A to a different work in medium B.
Yep.
Same thing.
Winnie the Pooh is now
same thing there.
Released also, right? That's done.
Now, Winnie the Pooh is
basically,
they made a horror version of that. But I mean,
Right.
what Ron's talking about,
this.
yeah, go ahead. Hang on real quick for the chat, though. What Ron's talking about with the derivative works, the best example I can give this audience, that's the Star Wars EU. That's the Star Wars extended universe that got other people wanted to write other stories about Star Wars characters for the last 40 some odd years. And they did it under license of Lucasfilm to help them expand the extended universe. Derivative works, that's what Ron's talking about. So,
I was saying, I think I can kind of explain it a little to where our audience may understand from the creative side of things. What this means is you can take the actual movie, Steamboat Willie, release a DVD of it, and they can't stop you. It's public domain now. But you can also make your own version of it. But what you're limited to is what is in Steamboat Willie and that design of the character. You deviate anywhere from that, they're going to come after you for it. So like you can come up with a new version of it like they do with certain other things, a little new twist on it, a new take on it. As long as it doesn't encroach into any other Mickey Mouse works that are under their copyright at that point.
That's just it.
Then you're fine.
And some people are going to screw that up. There are going to be people out there that don't know the difference. There are going to be YouTubers out there like, oh, I can use Mickey Mouse now all the time.
No.
And they are going to get railed. And it's like, it's specific. You have to understand the delineation between, a specific release of this cartoon, this specific version of this character versus Mickey Mouse, as Ron correctly pointed out, as a trademark, as an image that Disney still has. Make sure you're subscribed to Valiant Renegade and join us every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the live show.